So this is the first official part of new knowledge in our trig and triangles unit. First thing we look at is area of a triangle. And we're quite familiar with how to find the area of a triangle if the triangle looks like this. We have the formula, which we can just go ahead with, which is area of a triangle equals 0.5 times length times breadth. Or you'll occasionally see it times base times height. With a lot of formulas, remember, pieces are interchangeable. So if you're more familiar with base and height, go ahead, use base and height. So what we have is 0.5 times the length, which 9, times the base, times the breadth even, which is 12. And we type this into our calculator. 0.5 times 9 times 12 equals 54. So the area of this first triangle is 54 meters squared. And that works because we have a right angle triangle. Now this is a triangle, and actually we've been given most of the same information. We've been told that if you measure along the bottom of it, it's 9 meters. We've been told if you measure this bit up here, it's 12 meters. So in theory, why can't we use it? The reason we can't use this formula here is because that angle is not 90 degrees. And what we have to do is find a way to correct for it. Because if we think about how this triangle is affected, if this was to be a right angle triangle, that may only be about 10 meters to go to there. It wouldn't work. If we wanted to make it into two right angle triangles, you'd have to cut it here and you'd have one right angle triangle and your second right angle triangle. But that height is not going to be 12 meters. So unless we want to go down a really long, convoluted route of figuring out the height and then turning it into two bases and etc., we can use a formula that's just ever so slightly adapted. And it's area of a triangle equals a half AB sine C. A half times two numbers multiplied together, so they're the equivalent of your base and your height, or your length and your breadth, and then you multiply it by sine of that angle there. So let's have a look. So we have a half times A, so it doesn't matter, A and B can be either way around. What is important though is that sine C has to be the angle in the middle of them. Because what you have is angle A, angle B, and side C, angle C. So you have to have two sides and the angle in the middle. So times 9 times 12 times sine of 135. Okay? We type that into the calculator, and I've conveniently already got the first bit. Times sine 135, close bracket. Not going to be a nice answer, but remember we hit our decimals and out will come a lovely decimal answer of 338.183766618. Write out that whole thing and round. So we have 38.2 meters squared. And as you can see, despite the fact we're actually given a lot of the same measurements, they had the same lengths on two of the arms, this one is a much smaller triangle than this one. And what I'm going to show you is even if you use this formula with this triangle, you will get out the same answers. So, and the reason for this is that angle in there, that sine C, if we go A, B, C, big A, big B, big A for the angles. Remember, opposite side, opposite to the angle, have the same name. So sine C is now going to be 90. And if I type in that, sine of 90 times 12 times 9 halved gives you 54. Because sine of 90 equals 1. So when you have a right angle triangle, we don't use this sine C, because if we did, we'd just be multiplying it by 1. And in maths, we love efficiency. What are our steps to success here? Because we want to make sure we're not missing any important information. So steps to success. I would always recommend step 1, labeling your sides, okay? Step 1 and 2 can happen either way around. So 1, you label the sides. 2, you copy the formula. Now you are given this formula in a National 5 exam. Don't be a martyr. Go to the front of your test paper, find that formula, copy it the most careful you have ever been in your life. Copy the formula. You substitute in your values. So you substitute in A, you substitute in B, you substitute in sine C. And then you put it all in the calculator. And you round with units. Okay? Those are my steps to success with area of a triangle. Label your sides, copy this formula, substitute in your information, write out the long answer which you get in the calculator, and then round it with units.